most economists expect Governor Lesetja Kganyago to hold the repo rate at around 3.5%. In fact, they believe that the high unemployment rate and slow economic growth make a compelling case for holding it at current levels or even dropping it by 50 basis points. Now, that's been good news for first-time homeowners, or home buyers, I beg your pardon, who've taken advantage of the affordable credit. So, how will today's announcement affect your pocket in some respects? Let's break it all down for you. Mfundo Mabaso is the head of home finance growth at First National Bank. He joins us now via our video link for a sense of what to expect later today. And Mfundo, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for making time for us here on the AM Report. Let's start with how these things typically work in Economics 101. We've just heard that CPI has gone up. That essentially is the inflation rate. Usually, that means interest rates will also go up because the Reserve Bank is trying to slow down the economy. However, predictions are telling us that that won't necessarily happen. Tell us why.
Yeah, so thank you very much, and thank you for having us. So when you think about the cycle, the MPC, or the Monetary Policy Committee, considers a number of factors, chief amongst them being the inflation rate. They are considered in terms of the assessment. So they look at a more broader sort of cycle. So when we do look at what the previous MPC statements did indicate that there is a rise in the inflation rate, but the likely hike, the first likely hike, is only predicted to happen in November. So the current one that's happening today is most likely going to stay the same at 3.5.
Sure. And this 3.5, by the way, is quite low, historically low at least, because of the COVID-19 pandemic in some respects. The question becomes, how much longer do you reckon the Reserve Bank will be able to keep it at these levels?
Yeah, so predictions from economists, even within the FNB group, is that the cycle, the upward cycle, is going to likely start in November. So they're going to hold it in prediction, according to the predictions that we've seen. They're going to hold it in this current cycle and most likely raise it by another 25% in November. What is encouraging is that the upward cycle is going to be shallow and longer, over a longer period of time. So we're looking at about an 18 to 24 month cycle in which the cumulative increase is predicted to be about 75 bips, cumulative, including the one that's coming up.
Sure, and by bips you mean basis points, right? And I'm only pointing that out because there are many instances where it almost feels like the conversation doesn't trickle down to ordinary South Africans. So let me ask this. To whose benefit is a low interest rates in our country?
Well, look, I think the household is benefiting a lot from a low interest rate perspective, because then they are paying less for their debt commitments, which means there's more income to go around in the household, which then means that they can spend a little bit more on the things that are important, which that means that it benefits businesses. And if it benefits businesses, it benefits jobs. So there's a nice flywheel effect to the low interest rate, and it's been very supportive of an economy that has been really ravaged by the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah. In other words, debt is cheaper when the interest rates are lower. But help us understand why the interest rates can't go all the way down to something like 1%, for argument's sake.
Well, I think there's many considerations. The saving side of things. There are people who save and they generate a return on how much they saved. So there is a balancing effect that the MPC has to strike. So right now, if you look at all the fundamentals, the economic fundamentals, I think this has been historically the lowest we've ever been to. There wasn't any indication that it would have gone as low as this, so it has been very supportive to the economy and households. And we're really grateful to all the members of the MPC for being so supportive. But it doesn't look like it's going to go any lower than this. And indications are of a recovery in the economy. So there is everything sort of pointing in the direction